PJNet.TV Part 2, it's 9:31. It just changed to 9:31. So we're running a minute behind. We're running the bumper. We've got the backgrounds ready. We've got the recording on. We are streaming on most platforms. So we'll switch to Studio 8 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, welcome, or welcome back, as the case may be, to PJNet.TV. Guess who's coming up? Can you tell? Okay, you got it? There you go. What a beautiful rendition that is. Okay, she'll tell you more about it. Okay. If you are watching this in the PJNet.TV chat room, you are very special. We love our PJNet family. If you are watching this on Facebook or YouTube, we are so glad that you have taken some of your time out to share with us and have us share with you. We invite you to join the fellowship over at PJNet.TV. You can watch the same thing over there and meet all the wonderful people that we have. So tonight, as we do on every Wednesday night, unless she has 2 books under deadline or something like that, which is fine because she always gets such good replacements, substitute stand-ins. Michelle Medlock Adams, I guess you've had a chance to recuperate from the deadline or not. I don't know. You look fine. I'm wearing black tonight in your honor.
Hey, thanks. We matched. That's awesome. The chances of me not wearing black are very slim, so that was a good guess.
Well, if you're not wearing black, we can probably go with leopard.
Leopard, that's right. And that was my other choice. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go with black. I was really true. Because my chair is like zebra. Can you see? I was like, that might flash.
They must not have had a leopard chair, is all I can say.
Well, the leopard chair's downstairs. So that's.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Can't mix the animal prints.
Okay. Did you get your work done last week?
I got 1 book turned in, praise the Lord. And the other one should be turned in by Monday. So it'll be a long weekend, but I'm getting there. Some things you just can't rush.
Have you had your hair done?
Yes.
How long had it been?
A while. Pandemic while, like a long time.
Yeah.
I was so thankful to get. It was like the heavens opened, the angels sang. It was so good. Yeah. I'm naturally blonde again. Yes, thank you, Lord. Yeah.
Well, there's nothing like the feel. How would I know? We all face deadlines, and here's the fact: we act on a deadline because a deadline acts on us. But
yes.
And the anxiety, the stress, the fatigue, and the too much coffee and not enough sleep. When you finally when you finally nail it, that feeling of
yes,
and
hitting that send button is like woo, victory, right? I'm like so excited.
but it feels so good. Yet we do the same thing over and over. So the plate's kind of empty. So what do? Start stacking more stuff on it so we can do this all again.
See, that is, you get me, Coach. That is so true. I have a friend named Wendy.
I can kind of relate. Okay.
Well, she's like, I don't like to have as many things on my plate as you do. I don't like to have. I get really stressed out. She said, if I have all these different things that I have to do, and I'm just the opposite. If I don't have several things on my plate, I'm a little stressed. I'm like, what happened?
Right.
What happened to all the work? Like it's not that I can't entertain myself or find something to do, like go fish or something, but when you're about the Lord's work, and it's just, I want to always be in the game, Coach. I don't want to be sitting on the bench.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. And the older you get, the more intense that drive will become, because you become aware, like, oh, it's the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the scoreboard. Woo.
That is so true. Yeah, I'm not in the 4th quarter yet. I hope not, but still, like 3rd quarter, yeah. It is definitely second half for me. So
yeah, when you get in the 4th quarter, you're thinking, we'll say, well, it's not the 2-minute warning yet, but then
right,
and then you'll say the fat lady hadn't sung yet, whatever. I've never met the fat lady, nor have I heard her sing.
My mother used to always say she hasn't sung yet, but she did stand up. Like when we were getting close, she has left her seat. So, yeah, that is not the case for us. We've got too much to do. And you know what? That's what I want to talk about tonight. I've been, I think all of us have been watching a lot of the news and just talking with friends and family that we can now be with. Because in Indiana, we can have gatherings again. More than 10 people. So we've gotten together. I don't know if it's the same in Florida, but yeah, we had a birthday party the other day, and there was like 35 people. It was so exciting.
Felt like you were doing something wrong,
I know. I almost felt like I
like
needed
you're
a
getting away
permission
with
slip or something from the governor. I know it was very strange, but we're such the rebels down here. We went ahead and did that. But we had such a great time. And but in conversation, so many people, one of my cousins, she missed a job interview for a job she'd been believing God for a long time. Now that job's been put on hold, and that there was just story after story after story of disappointments and things that, in the light of things, in the scheme of everything. I mean, my cousin didn't die. She didn't ever get the disease. I mean, there's been some horrible things happen to people. I'm not making light of that at all. But a disappointment is a disappointment. So the fact that she can't now have this job when she thought she was going to be starting the job, and they don't even know the job's going to be available. That's been there's been a lot of talk about that. And so I went to the Lord about it, because we had some things planned too that have been put on the back burner, and I won't go into all the details of that. But you heard God. I mean, it says my sheep know my voice, and I'm a sheep. I know His voice. I know what He said. I know what we were working towards, and then things were delayed. But I think it's important to remember that these are delays that they can't stop what God has for you. So it may be delayed, but just think of it as a divine delay. Sometimes the delays are out of our hands, but it's not like this coronavirus or that it surprised God. I mean, God didn't take a vacation and come back and go, oh my goodness, what happened? I mean, he's aware, He's still in charge. And so when things are delayed, sometimes there's a reason for it. And you just have to know that your future is still bright. And I was looking in the Bible about, if you look at David's story or Joseph's story, there's so many examples in the Bible. Hannah's story, so many of these people that we look up to in the Bible had these delays. I mean, sometimes you're anointed long before you're appointed. Sometimes things happen. God calls you, He shares something with you, but it takes a while for that to happen. Even in my life, when God called me to write, I didn't know that I have over 100 books, and it didn't happen overnight. And there were some delays, and there were some setbacks along the way, but you just stay true to the course and know that God has got your steps ordered. It says in Psalm 37:23, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delighteth in His way. If you truly believe that your steps are ordered of the Lord, then no matter what the delays are, if you're at a rest station or you've fallen down, don't worry, you'll get back up. Your steps are ordered. You can just keep going through, and you can go about life with a more positive attitude. I think that this waiting upon the Lord, people wait kind of with sour faces and very discouraged and stuff, but don't wait like that. Wait, serving God, being excited about what He's got for you, and use that time to prepare for where He's taking you. I think that's what we can do, is we can use that time that maybe we weren't counting on. We thought it should happen then. That was the original plan. So use that time to prepare for those next steps. It's just like extra preparation. And listen, as a coach, extra preparation can be a good thing.
Well, make the best of the time you have.
Film. Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Make the best.
Yeah.
I did something very unusual earlier this week. Is I watched a movie. I subscribe to PureFlix, and some of the movies are, they're not exactly Hollywood quality, but there was a scene in that movie where a fellow was helping out a neighbor who was being rather annoying. Can you help me move this little thing, a bird feeder or whatever? It was a monument. No, that's not. No, can you move it over here? And he was getting very anxious and aggravated because he said, I've got to go, ma'am. I mean, can we do this later? Well, she delayed him about 5 minutes. Well, then he went on his way and got into a traffic jam, and he got out of the car and was talking with another driver, and the other driver said, yeah, there's a 12-car pileup on the entrance ramp to the interstate ahead. It happened about 5 minutes ago. Yeah. If he would not have been delayed. And I heard a story, I don't know if it's true or not, but it helps you gain perspective. Yes, a lady was running late. She was going to work, and the heel of her shoe broke. And she had to literally stop and find an open shoe store and buy another pair of shoes to wear to work. And she was extremely anxious, frustrated. And she would have been late to work, but she never went to work that day because it was September the 11th. And she worked in the World Trade Center.
I heard so many stories like that. As a journalist, we wrote a lot of things during that season, and story after story about those kinds of things. People who were supposed to go to work that day or were supposed to be on one of those flights, things like that happen.
Right.
Yeah, it's true, Coach. I mean, God has our set time. He does. He has the days of our life are numbered, and he knows the beginning to the end. And I think we can live at peace and be a lot more joyful in everyday life, knowing that our steps are ordered of him, and nobody can stop what he has for you but you. If you give up or quit or whatever. I just heard a story one of my favorite preachers shared. He was talking about T.D. Jakes, which I really like T.D. Jakes. I've heard Pastor Jakes in person a couple times, and I mean, he really stirs me up. I really love him. I love his passion for the Lord. But the Lord called him when he was much younger to be who he is now, this internationally known pastor. He's an amazing author and all the things that he does. But for a while, he was a pastor of a very small church in West Virginia, I believe it was. And he would travel and preach at 200 people would be the biggest crowd. There'd be a big crowd for him. But he knew God had called him to preach and to the world. And he was like, did I misunderstand, Lord? I don't get it. What's going on here? And you just keep being faithful, doing the things that you know to do. Keep walking out those steps. And so I now think about all the things that lined up for this to happen. So he preached at a minister's kind of a conference, and somebody who was there who had a TV show, something like yours, said, I'm just going to do a highlights reel like you do, Coach, after each of us have our things. And they did a highlights reel, and they took a good portion of T.D. Jakes, some of his really key things he says, y'all know to do.
The good ones, yeah.
And yeah, right? The poignant moments, and Jakes will give you some good ones. So, and that played, and Paul Crouch, who was the guy, Paul Crouch was the father of Trinity Broadcasting Network. They started that, he and his wife. So Paul Crouch, who runs, that was at the time the biggest Christian programming, I believe it still is, station in the world. It's all over. Happened to be flipping through the channels and watched, didn't even know the station, didn't normally watch this guy's program, and happened to see T.D. Jakes. And just at the second that they showed his part of the highlight reel, and he said, my goodness, I've never heard anything like that. Who is this man? I have to know who this is. So he called his staff. He said, I don't know who this guy is, but he wanted to give him his own show on Trinity Broadcasting Network. People have to hear him. Now, if Paul Crouch had gotten up and gotten a sandwich or gone to the bathroom or taken a nap, he would have missed that, and Jakes probably wouldn't be where he is today. But see, God already had that lined up. T.D. Jakes couldn't figure that out. If he'd have tried to work it or, showed up on Paul Crouch's doorstep, it wouldn't have worked. But God had those steps ordered. That encouraged me so much to know, we haven't missed it. God's got another opportunity. It may be delayed right now, but it's going to be bigger and better than you can ever imagine.
So often, Michelle, you're inspiring me. We attribute success to the sweat of our brow and the cunning of our effort, the strategies and all this. And yet we fail to recognize that God is in control. We think we are, and that we got to double down. Now, folks, I'm not calling for laziness or, we need to work vigilantly. We need to work hard. We need to take our work seriously. But at the same time, we need to understand who's driving. And Ben Cooper was on last night on the subject of who's driving, because we actually get to decide who's driving. We put somebody in the throne of our heart. It's our choice.
That's right.
And maybe, just maybe, we need to abide in him. Maybe we just need to listen to the Father and kind of give him control and quit resisting the direction. Just go with things. Just go with the flow.
Yes.
And let God be in charge. I can't wait, to get to heaven and find out about all these things that happened that I don't even know didn't know. Oh, God, you did that. I'm sure there are numerous times.
Unbelievable. And I think that's why it's important to journal things, like things that we do know about, times that we do find out that God intervened, and we didn't even know it till later. We're like, oh my goodness. I one time I'll never forget this. It's so weird because it just popped up in my email this week. The Clyde Dupin campaign. He's a evangelist, and he was coming through different cities. And he came through Bedford, Indiana, and I was covering the religion beat at our small town newspaper here, the Bedford Times Mail. So I had to go to all the meetings. And I ended up serving as the PR person, the local PR person for the campaign, because I was also at the Free Methodist Church, and they were going to be a part of it. So anyway, I was kind of doing double duty, but I got to know their PR guy pretty well, and he worked with him and had great articles in the paper for him and did all I could. And because of that, I got to go to all the meetings, and they were phenomenal. Clyde Dupin is a great preacher, and so I was really blessed by that. But in the middle of all that, that's when Jeff and I were fixing to go to Texas. Like, we didn't know it yet. Well, I knew it in my heart, but I hadn't been offered that job yet. But I had been offered the opportunity to go out and basically have an interview for this magazine writing job at this Christian, it's a big ministry out in Texas. Well, we didn't have any extra money for a ticket. Not even, we really didn't. I mean, we had two little girls at home. Jeff was working full time. I was working at a newspaper that didn't pay very much. We just didn't have extra money lying around for a plane ticket. And I didn't want to take it out of our monthly finances and strap us in any way. I thought, well, if God wants me to go for this interview, he's going to have to provide. And that's exactly what I told him. I said, Lord, if you are guiding my steps like your word says, and you want me to go to this interview, then I'm trusting you to provide the money, because I'm not taking it out of we had I'm married to a CPA coach. We had every penny allotted for that month, and there was no extra money. We were just starting off. We were very young in our marriage. And so that's what I said. Well, at one of the Clyde Dupin campaigns, one of the nights at the meeting, I think it was a 5-night or maybe 6 nights, this person came up and handed me an envelope and said, don't open this till you get home. And I'm not allowed to tell you anything about this except for the woman who gave this to me said that you would know what to do with this money, and that God had told her to give you this exact amount. I was like, okay, that was the oddest thing that had ever happened to me. So, of course, I didn't wait till I got home.
Well, I just would have gone home right away. And
I'm like, I excused myself and went into the bathroom and opened it up, because I was like, what in the world? It was the exact amount that the plane ticket I'd looked up cost, the exact amount. Okay, if that doesn't build your faith, I don't know what does. See, we didn't have the finances for that ticket, but that was a part of my destiny, was to go out there and work with that magazine. And we needed the money to get me there, and God provided. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what the delay is, or what's been put off, or what's not happening because of what's happened in the world right now. That is, nobody can define only God. He's the one that's in control of your destiny. None of that may delay it, but it's not going to stop it. So just keep trusting God, keep walking out what you know to do. And when those things happen, praise the Lord. Keep it in your journal, like a little praise journal, so you can look back when you're discouraged and go, but look what God did here. He's never failed me, and he's not going to start.
What this reminds me of is we tend to define our existence and, in fact, our self-worth in terms of circumstances. Now, Paul wrote, and there's a reason he wrote this, I have learned, the operative word there is learned, to be content in whatever circumstances I am. Now, this is in stark contrast to the way we live, the way the world is, because, see, what we're taught and the way we act is that if you want to be happy, what you've got to do is manipulate the circumstances out there favorably so that you will experience joy and happiness. And we devote an extraordinary amount of energy and time and effort in manipulating our circumstances, ignorant, I guess, of the fact that God is above every circumstance. Circumstances are not as important as the world would have us believe them to be.
That's some good preaching right there. It's true. And the word tells us that God's ways are higher than our ways. So if we ever tried to figure it out, anytime I think I've got it figured out, I'm so far off. God always does it a different way. I just need to quit trying to figure it out. But that's just part of who I am, right? So I bet God's up there going, I'm not doing it that way, Michelle, but nice try. I'm always trying to figure it out. But God's ways are higher than our ways. So we have to trust that his ways are the right ways. Because if we'll just keep walking it out and not try, like you said, to work the circumstances, don't be lazy, like you said, but just keep following the path he has for you, doing what you know to do until he opens the next door. The way that God can close doors, he can open doors. But he has to close some for him to open up another one. So when it's a closed door, don't stand there beating at that door trying to get in. He's got another door down here that's so much better. You just have to keep following him. Right. He orders your steps.
And when a door
gives
opens,
me peace in this.
Yeah, walk through it. I kind of know when I've reached that faith moment. You were talking about the airplane ticket. When I start in my mind, whether I say it out loud or not, if it's God's will, it's God's bill.
That's good.
Because at that point you have surrendered it to faith. Okay, because I mean we're facing some things here that I've said, if it's God's will, it's God's bill. We're going to do this. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to act in faith. That's when faith takes over. And but for faith to take over, we have to surrender. And that's difficult for coaches because surrendering means losing, and we're not into that.
It's not even in your blood. You can't do that, right?
It's not in my DNA to, so it's a real struggle, but yet this is the nature of this is the essence. It is the center and it is the circumference of the Christian experience. Victory is achieved through surrender. Christ surrendered himself for us. Think about it. Through death, we have life. If you are to experience eternal life, you must surrender. And this is a difficult concept, but it's actually,
yes, it is.
It's actually a good deal.
Boy, is this the best deal of the century. Yes.
Got a deal for you. Michelle, it looks like we're kind of starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel on the quarantine. You've what are your visions? What are your goals? What are you going to be doing? We all got kind of detoured. What direction are we going to be taking in the next few weeks and months ahead? Are you ready to get back on the same track, or are you going to do anything different?
I just had a conversation with my agent and our friend Kyle Young.
Whose birthday is today?
Happy birthday, Kyle. I know I posted about that. He's such a great guy. I said he's an amazing agent, but an even better friend.
Another lap around the
Patty
sun.
And Kyle.
Yep.
Yes. So anyway, he's still younger than us, so he can go a few more times.
Yeah.
But we talked about how things have changed in our industry and how conferences have gone online, and I've got a few conferences that I haven't canceled that I'll be doing, because I've already agreed to do them. But I'm not going to be traveling as much unless I hear differently from God. But I think that this has been a good thing to be home and to be able to hear God and be able to have some time to actually hit some deadlines, to write more. I wrote a new children's book last week. It wasn't in the schedule, and had I been traveling, I wouldn't have time to do it. But man, God just dropped that right in my spirit, and in a couple of hours, it was just done. And someone once told me, I was at the altar praying. It was in Texas at that church I was telling you about, and I had gone down there for help. I was like, Lord, I just need your help. Like, that I can write. I'm so nervous for this deadline. I just want to hear from you. And afterwards, this person came up to me, was like one of the prayer ministers. I didn't really know him, and he said, I've got to tell you something. And he goes, I hope this doesn't weird you out. But he said, as you were praying, I saw, and he said, it was like an angel had its wings wrapped around you. It was like, you're not doing this by yourself. So I don't know, are you a writer? I was like, yeah, I am. I'm a writer, and I'm on deadline. And I was out here seeking God, saying, I need your help. I can't do this by myself. And he said, well, I think you got your answer. You're not doing this by yourself, Michelle. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I always have that image in my mind when I'm up against a deadline. But I just felt like that. That it came so easily. I knew it was a God-inspired thing this week. I don't think those things happen unless you're spending a lot of time with Him. And so I'm just, I'll be a little slower pace. You know me out, you can call me an octopus on roller skates. I'm still going to be doing a lot of that because my slower pace is still pretty crazy. But I'm not going to be traveling as much, and I think that's a good thing.
I think that this has given us some time to gain perspective and to be malleable, to be adaptive, because think about all the money that could be repurposed. If you look back, get your husband to do it. He can tell you exactly how much money
to the penny
has been spent on airfare, hotels, and things like that. This gives us a chance to say, well, you know what? What could I do with that money? And it lets us imagine a new future, a new reality. And it's not necessarily bad.
No,
it wasn't bad that we were doing it that way, but I'm just grateful that churches and religious organizations, Bible study groups, found out that, you know what, we can do this online. And would would this not have happened? I promise you they wouldn't have done it, because I've been begging them to do it, and they haven't. So
Right.
it took something to hit us upside the head. And if we can see the opportunity, okay, you know, when you're handed a lemon, make lemonade. Okay, that's what you do.
That's right.
And
And I think that's what we've done. I think that's what people, my sister and I, you know, and her leader in the church, her name's Lee. We've been leading Bible study online for like 7 or 8 weeks now. They went back to church this week. Their church is opened. So they actually led Bible study Tuesday morning. Now, I couldn't do it because, I was still on deadline. But we are taping tomorrow because it's exactly what we promised you when we were on the program. No, we're not going to stop doing online. We're going to do both, because there are a lot of people who can't be there at the church. So, and we've got our website coming up, sisters2ministry.com, and someone's working on that. So we're going ahead with that. That would not have happened had we not been here together during this pandemic. There are always silver lining things if you can look hard enough.
There are. Exactly. I agree. Well, Michelle, it's great to hear. It's great to hear. I'm glad you got through your deadline, and I can't wait. The weeks ahead show promise and hope and optimism. We've been through some things. Yes, we've been through some things, and there'll be more. But you know what? There's something better out there, and if we will just stay strong, well, God's with us. God's with us.
Yes,
He said He will not leave or forsake us. So victory is ours. And appreciate it, Michelle. Thanks for the uplifting words. Can't wait to hear next week what you got for us.
Thanks, Coach.
That was so much fun. This is the greatest. I can't believe that I get to do this. I just can't believe it. Let me give you a quick update. First of all, the antibiotics are starting to have an effect. I can no longer feel my pulse right there in my teeth. That's a good sign. And I did call the phone company today, so let me bring you up to date. We are going to get on top of this somehow. The order that was due the 26th of May, that was rescheduled to the 1st of June, that was rescheduled to the 2nd of June, is now, I'm promised, on June the 8th, they're actually going to do it. Now, why I believe them, I don't know. But at the same time, that's what I've been told. So I thought I would pass that along to you. Thank you again, all of you who have extended your well wishes for my tooth infection. No, I'm not getting a root canal. We're gonna snatch that thing out a week from tomorrow night. So next Thursday night's program, I promise you, I won't be doing much talking. So I will be taking my hydrocodone in about 3 minutes and working on the highlights videos, so they may turn out a little goofy. Who knows? But in any event, appreciate everybody that's in the chat room. What I like to do is when I finish here, I just go sit on the recliner with my laptop and my tablet, and I scroll through and read the chat. And it's so encouraging, and I appreciate you all that participate in the chat, and can't wait. For the times ahead look very, very good. So I'm going to kind of tip my hat on the way out as I slowly back out of here. But before I leave, I would like to ask you two things, and I would like you to ask yourself these questions daily. First question is, what is the boldest thing that you've ever done for Jesus Christ? And the second question is, how long ago was that? The challenge for us as Christians, if we are to move forward in victory, I believe, is to never be satisfied with either answer.